Let's see an example here. On the first controller, we have greet, print name, and add function. Also in the second controller, we have print age and print name. In the third controller, we have a say hi and a print name again. So we have noticed that we have a print name function on the tray controller on each controller. So we are redefining each method on other controllers. So you might encounter that in order to solve that problem, we will be using traits. So we will name our traits, for example trait 1, and we will define one print name function. For example, on the controller 1, we will be using the trait 1, or we will be defining importing the trait 1 so that we will have or inherit the print name function on the controller 1. So as if the print name function is already there in the controller 1. Also on the controller 2, we will using or will import the trait 1. In order to inherit the print name function on the controller 2. And on the controller 2, we will be using also the trait 1 in order to import the print name, so we are not repeating ourselves on those trait controllers. So we have solved the problem of repeating multiple codes. So let's open our Visual Studio Code, and on the same directory we'll be using the authentication project for just the example, and on the app folder HTTP and controllers, we will be creating those. So let me open the terminal, and we will be creating 2 controllers, so you can name it whatever you want. So let's call this first controller, and there you go. And let's create another one. Let's name this second controller, I guess. So we have created another controller. So on the first controller here, in the app, we will be using or we will be creating our traits. So let's create a new folder, traits, and on the traits folder, let's create a new file, for example friendly trait. And here we will write a PHP there, and we will be using a namespace so that we can see or we can track the directory of this. And let's put a trait called friendly trait, and here we will be defining our global function, or the function that you might repeat in other controllers. So let's name this print name, and it will take a parameter of a name. Let's return a string. Let's say your name is whatever the parameter contains. So let's save that, and on our first controller, let's use the friendly trait. So as you can see, it is already automatically being namespace there, and write our function, for example function print, and here we will create a variable called message, and we will be using this for we are referring to this function friendly trait. So as if the trait or the function on the trait is under the first controller. So let's see the print name there. There you go, we have description of the function. So we will have a parameter there, a name. Let's say it's Christian, and let's print that message variable. let's go to our route and let's define a checking route for the first controller so we can see that it actually works. So let's define a get method and let's see our first controller, and we'll firing at print method. So let's serve. Localhost 8000 and check first trait. So there you go, we have successfully used the print name function on the trait, friendly trait. So we'll do the same on the second controller. So we can, let's define a function print again here, and on the same message. So let's first use the friendly trait there and refer to this print name function, and let's have a parameter of elmo, and let's print that variable message. Let's define again for the second controller. Let's change that to second and let's try. There you go. So on the app folder traits, so we have defined our trait here called friendly trait, and we defined a function print name that will be used on other controllers, multiple controllers. This function can be used by multiple controllers that returns any exactly function you want, and will be using the namespace app traits or the folder you have created, folder name you have created. So let's see our controllers. So this controller, for example, shared the common functions. So it is where they use the same function. So they use or import the friendly trait and defined using the namespace that was created earlier, and that function is served as if the method was under the first controller, defined under the first controller. Same with the second controller, we have used the friendly trait, and print name, we have used the print name that is under the friendly trait. So I guess there is